जाहिर है संवेदनशील विषय है। संसद का सत्र खत्म हो चुका है। बेहतर ये होता कि सदन में सरकार की तरफ से बयान आकर चर्चा होती। अगर नहीं हुई तो कम से कम तमाम विपक्षी दलों के नेताओं से इन कैमरा मीटिंग सरकार करे, बताए कि रणनीति क्या है, क्या हमारी सोच है। अमेरिका की मांगों को देखते हुए जो भी बातचीत हो, समझौता हो, वो समझौता संतुलित और सम्मानजनक होना चाहिए, क्योंकि भारत का एक बहुत कम हिस्सेदारी है दुनिया के व्यापार में। और सर्विसेज सेक्टर में हमारी थोड़ी मजबूती है, क्योंकि इतना नहीं है हमारा विश्व में जो हमारा हिस्सा है। पर अगर वो इसमें शामिल नहीं होता तो ये देश का हित नहीं होगा, अहित होगा। दूसरी बात, जो अभी तक पहले ही घोषणाएं हुई, बेहतर होता कि सरकार नेगोशिएशंस का बातचीत से पहले कोई भी कंसेशन ना देती, रियायत ना देती। ये सब बातें नेगोशिएशंस पर, बातचीत पर आधारित रहनी चाहिए और एक तरफा नहीं, दो तरफा होना चाहिए। शायद हर किसी को ये बात का ज्ञान नहीं है कि अमेरिका के राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप को अभी कांग्रेस से वो जो अधिकार होता है व्यापार समझौतों का, जो ट्रेड अथॉरिटी बनती है अमेरिका में, वो भी नहीं बनी। इसलिए वो कोई सिर्फ ड्यूटी लगा सकते हैं, टैरिफ लगा सकते हैं, कोई रियायत नहीं दे सकते, कोई कंसेशन नहीं दे सकते। ये भी हमको मद्देनजर रखना है। भारत सरकार से ये भी आग्रह है कि सब स्टेक होल्डर से बात की जाए, चाहे हमारा व्यापार जगत है, उद्योग कर्मी है, उद्योग के लोग हैं, किसान, कृषि क्षेत्र, पोल्ट्री, डेयरी, उनसे बात करनी पड़ती। कृषि के बाद दूसरा सबसे बड़ा सेक्टर जहाँ रोजगार है वो टेक्सटाइल है, कपड़ा उद्योग है। इसीलिए ये जो सब प्रभावित हुए हैं उनसे बात करना आवश्यक है। हमारी ये मांग है कि सरकार जहाँ एक रणनीति बातचीत के लिए बनाए, वहीं निम्नलिखित बातों पर गौर करे। एक नेशनल टास्क फोर्स का गठन किया जाए। हमारे पास बहुत लोग हैं देश में जिनके पास अनुभव है अंतर्राष्ट्रीय व्यापार का, जो सरकार से रहे हैं, जुड़े रहे हैं, WTO में भी रहे हैं, मौजूदा भी हैं ऐसे लोग। वो टास्क फोर्स केवल अपनी बातचीत का मसौदा ही ना तैयार करें, एक मॉनिटरिंग मैकेनिज्म भी होना चाहिए कि अब हमारा व्यापार किस दिशा में जा रहा है। थोड़ा चिंता का विषय तो है, पर एक ध्रुव की दुनिया नहीं, बहुत ध्रुवी है, मल्टीपोलर है। दूसरे बड़े बड़े हिस्से हैं दुनिया में, बड़े द्वीप, महाद्वीप। इसी विश्व के अंदर अगर अमेरिका है तो यूरोप भी, अफ्रीका यूनियन भी है जो 54 देशों का है, लैटिन अमेरिका और कैरिबियन भी है, गल्फ की खाड़ी के बड़े देश हैं जो मजबूत हैं व्यापार में, चीन है। ये तमाम देश दुनिया के अंदर हैं। हमारे रिश्ते हैं विश्व के हर हिस्से के अंदर, उसको अब हमको प्राथमिकता देनी पड़ेगी। और ख़ास तौर पर EU के साथ, UK के साथ और खाड़ी के देशों के साथ व्यापार समझौते उनको प्राथमिकता देकर जल्दी संपन्न करना जरूरी है। ये हमारी इच्छा है कि विश्व में टकराव जो शुरू हो गया, उसको ट्रेड वॉर कह रहे हैं, व्यापार युद्ध, वहाँ युद्ध शुरू हुआ है, वो अहित करेगा। और ख़ास तौर पर गरीब लोगों का पूरे विश्व के अंदर, कमज़ोर देशों का। और इसमें सब कोई किसी की जीत नहीं होगी, ये हमारी सोच है। अमेरिका को भी इससे नुकसान होगा, वहाँ के उद्योग को नुकसान होगा। ये सोच गलत है कि वहाँ कोई बहुत बड़ा निर्माण की क्रांति आएगी। दुनिया बदल चुकी है, विश्व में आज कड़ी बनी हुई है। As I've said, it's a matter of grave concern. It has created massive disruption, the unilateral imposition of high tariffs by United States of America, by President Trump. This is unprecedented. It threatens to create a major upheaval in all economies, big or small, whether rich countries and developed countries, or the developing and poor countries. It has also turned on its head the multilateral trade system and delivered a grave blow to the world's economy, trade, and WTO, the only organization which has the responsibility to conduct rule-based global trade. There cannot be trade without a rule-based system. What President Trump has done is a violation of all international agreements, rules, and principles. America remains an important trading partner of India, and surely we value this relationship. India must engage with America as an equal partner, and in the proposed bilateral trade negotiations, we demand that they should be honorable, balanced, and take India's concerns and India's interests on board, especially that of our farming community, dairy sector, poultry sector, textile sector, and others which have been adversely affected. And to respond, it has to be a calibrated approach. The government, we hope, will put in place a strategy. It's for them to do. But what will be the strategy? There should be a national consensus. It's a grave crisis. As I said, after 75 years, we are seeing that the entire global trading system has been wrecked. Therefore, the leaders of all major political parties should be taken into confidence by the government on its strategy. There should be stakeholders' negotiations. The stakeholders must know what we are going to discuss before any concessions are made, which may hurt the Indian economy, agriculture and industry in the long term. As I have said, we live in a multipolar world. There are other major economic blocks and trading blocks in the world and countries. India must prioritize conclusion of ongoing negotiations for free trade agreements with EU, UK. We should look very seriously now how to re-energize the entire continent of Africa, Latin America, and the countries of the Gulf. It's not that if there is a huge setback, India, along with its partner countries, should work together to respond to this challenge in a correct manner. So far, what we have heard, the negotiations are only confined to merchandise trade and concessions. President Trump has shown little regard for the multilateral rule-based system, or for that matter, international institutions, or plurilaterals and multilaterals agreements in trade. It was very clear from the earlier withdrawal from the TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, from the WHO, from the climate change negotiations. He's expressed disdain now for G20, and the final blow to the WTO. There is nothing known as reciprocal tariffs in the rule-based trading system. India has its obligations as the voice of the global south, as the developing countries, as the poor countries, which have benefited from India's leadership in ensuring that the first ever trade agreements that were reached at the 9th ministerial meeting in Bali, India was credited with that, which include the trade facilitation agreement and the agreement for the least developed countries, among others. There is no mention in the narrative of the services sector. Services sector is vital for India, critical for India, and there should be a robust chapter on services, without which there cannot be a balanced trade agreement with the United States of America. Also, given the different stages of development, economic and social, of countries in the world, the principle of less than full reciprocity, LTFR principle, is the guiding norm, principle and intrinsic to all the trade negotiations. It is unfair and violative of the agreements and rules, including the concluding round, the Uruguay round, and the establishment of the WTO. There cannot be full reciprocity between the rich and poor. Reciprocity can only be among equals, not the largest economy of the country and the smaller economies. There's big gap even between India and United States of America. They are $29 trillion economy, or 28, with a population of 340 million people. We are only reaching there at $4 trillion with a population of 1.4 billion. America's per capita income is $81,000 US. India's per capita income is $23,000-24,000 US. It cannot be on the same terms concessions. That would be unacceptable. I've talked about agriculture. We had defended our right and the right of our farmers and the farmers in all the developing and poor countries at the Bali Ministerial for public procurement of food grains. Here we use MSP to stockpile food grains for food security and distribution. We are making it clear that right must never be bargained or negotiated. Equally of concern are the dairy and poultry sectors. We have had reservations to open them up in the past, which our negotiators are, I'm sure, fully sensitive to, because they are cultural issues, sanitary issues, phytosanitary issues. We cannot accept. We had made it clear in the past when I was also there as our negotiators. Because in the poultry, if there is animal feed, blood meats, and in dairy items processing, where India is the largest milk producer of the world, we are by far the largest. We cannot accept any processing which involves animal fat and other ingredients. So these are not simple issues that give concessions in XYZ sectors. It's not on. And before I come, two things which I said earlier have to bear in mind. One, that we don't have huge farms. India's 85%, if not 89%, farmers are subsistence farmers with a land holding of less than 1.5 acres. This is a reality. Whereas in the case of America, the land holdings run into tens of thousands of hectares. And there is huge income support given to their farmers. Europe also does that, which is not counted as subsidy under the WTO rules. Again, one more demand which is being made on intellectual property. You must understand It targets the Indian pharmaceutical sector and the generic sector. Though pharma sector has been excluded, but in principle, India is fully compliant with its international obligations and WTO agreements on intellectual property. Our Intellectual Property Act, including Section 3D, and the right of, as a sovereign right of compulsory licensing, has withstood international scrutiny, and there has never been a legal challenge. Patents are granted for new innovations, for medicines, life-saving medicines, but when they go off patent, the generics kick in and they can be produced. In the past, even America officially and their companies have requested and entered into agreements with Indian pharmaceutical companies to produce life-saving medicines, which India has done. And a major contribution which is universally acknowledged in ensuring availability of life-saving medicines at affordable cost to poor people throughout the world. We did it with HIV/AIDS. We have done it with, in the oncology sector, medicine to treat cancers. Therefore, in any negotiations, we cannot give in to this practice and demand of evergreening, that a patent is expiring and minor tweak and you again extend the life by 10 years. So all these issues are there. There are huge concerns, and we hope that eventually sanity will prevail, even in America. As I said, everybody is going to be a loser. It's not that America will be a gainer by this, or their industry will gain. Negotiations and fair and balanced resolution of this issue is the only way forward. That's all what I have to say. We hope the government will listen. Yes, we will stand together as one country when it comes to this crisis. सरकार को विश्वास में लेना चाहिए कि भारत की सोच